Most people don't plan to destroy their own lives, yet it happens in ways they barely notice. Tiny, seemingly harmless choices pave the road to ruin, each step blending into the next. Married women, in particular, often become the easiest targets, not because they are weak, not because they lack morals, but because human nature craves attention, validation, and desire. No one wakes up and says, "Today, I'll betray everything I've built." It never starts that way. It begins in small moments, the stolen glances, the subtle excitement of a new conversation, the thrill of feeling noticed again, the longing for something she can't quite put into words. So why do some married women fall into this trap? And more importantly, how do they justify it? Let's uncover the hidden reasons behind this silent temptation. 1. The unspoken void. Why some married women seek external attention. Marriage is meant to be a partnership, a foundation strong enough to withstand time and trials. Yet, not all marriages remain as vibrant as they once were, and some women start to drift. Most people assume these women are looking for escape, but that's not always the case. More often, they are searching for something they lost along the way, something deeply personal. Human beings crave connection, and for women, emotional intimacy is just as vital as love itself. In the early stages of marriage, this intimacy feels effortless, intoxicating, and ever-present. Late-night conversations, deep emotional sharing, and the joy of simply being seen. But as time passes, routine takes over, and life begins to feel predictable and uninspired. Discussions shift from dreams and desires to grocery lists, bills, and school schedules. Passion fades into obligation, and worst of all, she starts to feel invisible in her own home. Dr. John Gottman, a leading relationship psychologist, calls this the silent killer of love. It's not arguments or conflicts that end marriages, it's indifference, the slow drift apart. A woman who no longer feels noticed by her husband unconsciously seeks validation elsewhere. She doesn't set out to cheat or betray, but she does long to feel desired and appreciated. A simple compliment from a stranger, an engaging conversation, a glance that lingers too long. These small interactions feel like oxygen after years of emotional suffocation. What starts as an innocent exchange soon becomes something she craves, a spark she thought lost. Marriage provides stability and security, but it also brings an often overlooked downside. Psychologists refer to this as the Coolidge Effect, the way novelty fuels attraction and desire. Both men and women are wired to seek excitement, the thrill of something new and unexpected. And if a woman has spent years in a routine, every day repeating itself, she feels numb. Then, even the smallest moment of newness, a different voice, a fresh perspective, feels electrifying. It's not that she doesn't love her husband. It's not that she's a bad person or unfaithful. It's that she misses the version of herself that once felt confident, desired, and irresistible. She longs for that rush of being pursued, of holding power over someone's longing again. And even if she never intends to cross any lines, she finds herself inching closer. Another hidden reason many married women fall into emotional temptation is identity loss. Before marriage, she was an individual with passions, dreams, and a sense of personal freedom. After marriage, she becomes defined by roles: wife, mother, caretaker, the one who holds it all together. While these roles are meaningful, they can also feel suffocating, stripping away her individuality. If she no longer feels like herself, she seeks interactions that remind her of who she used to be. And sometimes, that interaction comes in the form of another man, someone who sees her differently. 2. The justification game: how the mind bends reality. No woman wakes up one morning and decides, "Today, I will betray my marriage." That's not how it happens. It's a slow, almost imperceptible shift in thought and behavior. By the time she crosses a line, her mind has already convinced her that it's not really wrong. The reason? Guilt is heavy, and the brain finds ways to lessen that burden. At first, everything feels innocent, just a small interaction, nothing serious. She tells herself, "It's just attention. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm just talking to him. We're only friends. There's no harm in that. I'm not cheating. I just enjoy the way he makes me feel." These thoughts seem harmless, but they are the first cracks in the foundation of loyalty. Psychologists call this cognitive dissonance, the tension when actions contradict beliefs. The human brain cannot live with this conflict for long, so it creates justifications. It reshapes the story to make her feel like she's still in control, still on the right path. She begins playing mental games to excuse behaviors that once seemed unacceptable. She downplays her actions. It's just flirting. It doesn't mean anything. She shifts the blame. If my husband paid more attention to me, I wouldn't need this. She compartmentalizes. This has nothing to do with my marriage. This is just for me. The biggest lie people tell themselves is that they can stop whenever they want. But the more she justifies, the easier it becomes to take another step forward. Emotional affairs are often more dangerous than physical ones because the lines are blurred. She may not have touched another man, but she is already detaching from her husband. A late-night text, a secret conversation, a deep personal connection shared with someone else. The moment she starts hiding things, she has already crossed the line. Cheating is not just a physical act. It begins the moment deception enters a relationship. The moment you start keeping secrets from your partner, you've already betrayed them. And this is where the real danger lies, because once emotions take over, logic fades. The mind moves to its final and most dangerous justification: I deserve this. At this stage, she no longer questions if her actions are wrong. She believes they are justified. I've sacrificed so much for this marriage. I deserve to feel happy again. He has ignored me for years. If he doesn't care, why should I? I've been faithful for so long, and where has it gotten me? This is the point of no return. Her emotional connection with another man feels more real than her marriage. She no longer sees herself as betraying, she sees herself as taking back what was lost. And once a person believes their actions are justified, nothing can stop them. The reason some married women become the easiest prey is not weakness or immorality. It's because the mind is built to rationalize what feels good, no matter the cost. It starts with tiny excuses, small allowances, brief moments of harmless indulgence. But if left unchecked, those justifications turn into irreversible choices. 3. The breaking point, when there's no turning back. Every story has a moment where the point of no return is crossed. A moment when it's no longer just talking, just flirting, just an innocent connection. The shift happens silently, almost without realization until it's too late. Psychologists call this threshold theory the idea that the hardest step is the first one. Once she sends that first risky message, it becomes easier to send the second. Once she meets him just as friends, it feels normal to meet again. Once she lets his hand linger too long and doesn't pull away, the next touch feels natural. At first, lying feels unnatural. The first time she deletes a message, she feels uneasy. The first time she makes an excuse, her heart races. The first time her husband asks, "Who are you texting?" she hesitates but finds an answer. But the mind is terrifyingly adaptable. What once felt wrong becomes routine. She gets better at hiding, better at justifying, better at living two lives at once. She stops feeling guilty because she starts believing her own lies. This is where the spiral begins. The longer the secret exists, the harder it is to escape. She tells herself, "I'll end it next week. I'll stop when it starts feeling too serious. Just one more time." But weeks turn into months, and soon she is trapped in her own web. The scariest part, she doesn't even want to leave anymore. Because by this stage, she no longer sees her marriage as her primary relationship. Her husband becomes the other man. The real passion, the real emotional connection is happening elsewhere. Even if she hasn't physically crossed the line, her heart already belongs to someone else. And when that happens, there are only two ways this story ends. She gets caught, or she walks away from her marriage, unable to keep living a double life. So why are some married women the easiest prey? Because they're not looking to cheat, they're looking to feel something they lost. And once they find it, walking away feels impossible. Not because they don't love their husbands, but because they've convinced themselves they'll never feel this way at home again. And once that belief settles in, nothing will ever be the same. 4. The aftermath, when there's no way back. When a woman crosses the line, whether emotionally or physically, everything changes. She may tell herself she's still in control, that she can stop anytime, but reality says otherwise. What started as a thrill, the hardest truth is this, or a moment of betrayal begins, now it rarely like stays the same. Life. The emotions deepen, the lies grow more intricate, and the stakes get higher. What once felt harmless now holds the power to destroy everything she built. The scariest part, by the time she realizes she's too far in, it's often too late. Not just because she's emotionally invested as a source of love, perspective has becomes a source of resentment. When a woman emotionally detaches, she starts rewriting the story in her mind. She convinces herself that her husband is the problem, that she was pushed into this. She no longer sees her actions as a betrayal, she sees them as justice. At this stage, every interaction with her husband feels hollow and forced. She compares him to the other man, the one who makes her feel alive again. Even if her marriage was once good, her mind now filters out the good memories. She stops investing in the relationship. She avoids deep conversations. She loses interest in intimacy. And then, the final shift happens, the moment where her marriage no longer feels real. It becomes something she merely exists in, a structure she no longer believes in. By this point, only two outcomes remain: exposure or an inevitable ending. Some women get caught, forced to face the reality of what they've done. Some leave before the truth surfaces, unable to maintain the double life. But one thing is certain: once the illusion becomes reality, the marriage is never the same. So why are some married women so vulnerable to temptation? Because they don't set out to cheat, they set out to feel something again. And once they do, the idea of returning to a passionless existence feels unbearable. Not because they don't love their husbands, but because, in their minds, the marriage they once loved is already gone. If you've made it this far, you now understand what most people fail to see. The warning signs, the silent shifts, the small steps that lead to something irreversible. With this knowledge, you can recognize what others miss before it's too late. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us create more content that challenges perspectives and reveals hidden truths. Hit the notification bell so you never miss our latest uploads. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.